Yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, we've been making fun of the Patriots. Kind of. We've been treading lightly, though, this morning.
So,
But Leroy goes into last segment. He teases us with a trade.
so remember, I do a lot of stuff in Cleveland.
Yep.
They have an unhappy camper who is doing things kind of lukewarm, making a stink. What do you call not quite making a stink, but
Yeah, Kareem
chirping?
Hunt. I saw Kareem Hunt demanded a trade, and they told him to kick rocks.
Yes, which which is funny, which which is funny because in the history of trades, right? In the history of making a stink, usually teams listen,
Yeah.
right? They just said no kick rocks. So what the hell?
Pretty fun. I mean, like you think about the way they got Kareem Hunt too. You think they'd be a little
Right,
bit more understanding. They're like, we
right.
did get you kind of luckily, because you got suspended for domestic violence. But
So
let's see what you got.
so here's the deal. Um, I've been in both people's shoes. So I've been Nick Chubb and I've been Kareem Hunt, right? Um, you have to be a veteran to accept the role that Kareem Hunt has, especially when he's never really had the opportunity to be Nick Chubb, right? And I think as a running back, you just want the opportunity at some point to be that guy. You don't want to be known as the backup your whole life if you feel you have the ability to play. So let's start there. We all know Kareem Hunt could start for a number of teams.
Sure.
Now here we have, is it Preston Williams,
Yeah.
who is not gonna make this team.
No, and there were reports yesterday that the
And
Dolphins.
if he starts, they might just cut him now.
Yeah, there were reports yesterday from Sports Illustrated that said they were fielding trade offers for Preston Williams and Lynn Bowden.
Now, the Browns don't really have that stud receiver or the guy who, by the way, they really like Jakeem Grant. Love him.
Well, wait till they need him to catch.
Right. So they don't really have, that guy. So
By the way, I had no idea Jakeem Grant was on the Browns.
they traded for him last year.
I feel like he was on somebody else last year. Are you
Nope.
sure?
He was on the Bears.
He was
Didn't
on
he
the
make
Bears
the,
last
Right,
year.
you're right. He
Pro
was
Bowl
on
as
the
the
Bears.
Bears.
He was on the Bears. He got traded to the Bears.
Okay.
So let's work something out. I will give you Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden, and a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt.
I mean, I definitely would be into it because it feels like you're trading me 2 backups for a guy who could definitely be a starter. So value-wise, I'd definitely be into it. The only thing is I would feel like they'd probably have to pay Kareem Hunt a lot of money next year, right?
Not necessarily, because you're bringing him in and he's a guy who's never started. So you're not paying him starters money.
But isn't like the reason he's disgruntled is because he wants a starting situation so he can get paid the next year,
No,
right?
the reason why he's disgruntled is because he's not getting paid.
Right. So that's my point. Like I'm saying,
Right.
like if you're bringing him in, you're gonna have to pay him a ton of money. And
What's a ton of money for a running back? So if I give a running back a contract and give him 10, 12 million and average 8 or 9 million, that's not relative to football. That's not big money, but it's a big increase for him who's never started.
right.
You can't give him starters money.
I'm with you, but that's why. But I'm saying if you're
and more importantly, the thing that he wants the most is the opportunity.
Right, I get you. I'm just saying that if you're bringing him in and you're the Dolphins, you would do it under the idea that the guy probably wants to get paid a ton of money because what he did start. Okay, so he started his rookie season where he had the 1,300 yards, had like 1,800 yards total. I mean, that incredible season. And then was great again in Kansas City, and then had the whole thing happen with the domestic violence suspension. Ended up in Cleveland.
Yeah.
in which he has not been the same guy as he was to start his career, where he
It's
started
just,
off like
but it's just
gangbusters.
opportunities. It's just opportunities.
So that's just strictly from Nick Chubb. Like, you're watching more Browns than me. I'm asking, like,
Yes,
okay? So he's still
Nick Chubb is
Nick
top
Chubb's
3 or 4 in the league.
Yeah, he's arguably the best
And
in the
you're
league.
playing behind that guy, your opportunities, no matter how good you are, aren't going to be as great as they are because you're playing behind a stud.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's an unfortunate thing. You didn't know that it was going to be like this, and Cleveland didn't know it was going to be like this when they brought you here.
Look, if you're telling me that's the trade, you're basically telling me, would you like Kareem Hunt for nothing? So I
mean, but
I would.
But look, for us, it's nothing. For them, they're trying to get playmakers on the outside.
All right, but the two guys, they're two guys who don't get on the field. Like, I couldn't imagine they couldn't do better than that for the Browns.
It's the fourth rounder is the thing.
No, I get you.
So the other two are just like, come on, help us out.
I think the only thing I will say, I've heard Mike McDaniel talk about he loves his running backs. Like, he
does.
He is like drooling over the running backs. That's his baby too. Like, I was reading that, he's big into the run. Like, that's where he made his bread and butter. Is being a run game guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, and Chase Edmonds has looked awesome. So, like, Chase Edmonds, in a lot of ways, like, he's never had the season that Kareem Hunt has, even though that was 3 seasons ago. He's a lot like that too, where it's been like, okay, he hasn't had the same opportunity. And
Agreed.
he's super fast. Mostert is a durability thing, and he is older, but obviously he knows McDaniel really well. So I don't know.
When you watch football in December, in January, and in the playoffs, everybody got that guy, that big, strong, can play in the cold and deal with the elements.
Yeah.
Right? It's great to say our running backs are fast. It's great to say, you know what I mean? But everybody needs that horse, that guy, when you got 4 minutes left in a game to go to the playoffs, or you got 4 minutes left in a game to advance, and you can just turn around and hand it to your stud, and he going to drag the pile for 3 or 4 yards, and you finish out a game like that.
Right.
Okay? Speed don't mean nothing in those situations. Speed don't mean nothing when everybody in the world knows you're going to run and you need to line up and get a first down. Being fast don't matter. Being fast is great for the first, 50 minutes of a football game.
Mm-hmm.
But in those last 10, if you look around the league, the teams that have that horse, okay, that have that stud, or the guys that can just finish it out. And so while all these things seem great, and these running backs, I'm not even questioning their abilities, right? If you go into a season without a guy that I can just put in the game and he can just, with no blocking, get me 3 or 4 yards, then when it gets to those key moments in the game and you got a guy who's really, really fast, you're going to think, oh, it's an 8-9 man box.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to run through somebody. So I'm not saying that the guys that they have, they don't like, or I don't like. I'm not saying that. Who's going to be that bell cow? Who's going to be that guy?
Do you think that he could still have that in him? I'm like, because it's like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, for a running back feels like an eternity for being that guy, like, who was actually like the feature guy, hasn't had to split carries. Like, do you think he can I'm going to use your favorite phrase, can he dial it up at 27, 28 years old? Yes. And be back to that guy?
You can get 3 or 4 years out of him. Okay. But here's the deal. You got another guy that's going to take his role over that he had in Cleveland. So you're going to be able to manage that.
Mm-hmm.
They do the same thing with Nick Chubb. And here's the kicker. I think Cleveland said no way to a trade because of what they're going to have to do with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, at running back.
Right.
They're going to need both of those guys.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
But Cleveland has two other guys. They have Dearness Johnson, who's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Dude does a little combination of both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And you have another running back. I can't think of his name right offhand. So you have other guys that Dearness Johnson started last year when both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb were hurt. You have other guys that could fill that role of what Kareem Hunt does in Cleveland. So why not get something for him?
I love, though, that Cleveland is falling for the Jakeem Grant. Everybody loves Jakeem Grant.
Yeah,
you know, like first of all, he's really fast, he's explosive, and he's tiny. So you're like, oh, this guy's fun. Dude, trust me. Like, Tyreek Hill's small too. You see the difference immediately. It's not even close. So it's adorable that Cleveland is falling in love with Jakeem Grant. Wait till they start throwing him the football and he's got the dropsy doos. Everybody falls in love with Jakeem Grant in training camp. That's the whole deal.
Because what do they say? He's so fast.
Oh, he's so fast. We all remember the play where
now is he really fast, or is it because he's small and his legs move fast?
No, I think he is. He's not. I mean, listen, nobody's Tyreek. He is legitimately fast, but he's got baby hands and he can't catch. I mean, dude, he drops so many punts.
No, I know.
So many punts.
Here, take it from a guy who used to do that. It is the most frightening job in football.
Okay. Well, it also doesn't help that he has, hands the size of a koala.
So now
it's got a point.
Headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford, we know trucks. Let's give you a Dolphins training camp update here, which is brought to you by Miami-Dade County Public Schools Technical Colleges. For more information, call them up 305-558-8000 or log on to careerinayear.com. So Leroy was proposing maybe the Dolphins make a little trade for Kareem Hunt, who is disgruntled in Cleveland, even though Cleveland says we're not trading you right now.
I mean, the exact words were "no, kick rocks."
Pretty much. Yeah.
I've never seen an answer.
Yeah.
Come back that quick to a requested trade. No.
Yeah. No. We're not. No. Sorry, Kareem. We're not trading you. But Mike McDaniel, he spoke about this weekend his running back room, and this is Mike McDaniel's bag. He comes from the a lot of people think, oh, he's pass. You think like Adam Gase, like passing guru.
He's just an offensive guy.
He's been everywhere, and he started because everybody, he was with those boy wonders in Washington with LeFleur and McVay and Shanahan, like they were all the passing little wizards. He got his start with the there's a great piece of The Athletic about Mike McDaniel right now. Really cool feature on him, but like his bag is the run game. And in fact, this was a quote where he says, McDaniel is often referred to as a run first coach, but he doesn't see himself that way. He says, quote, I think you emphasize football inside out. I'm more of an interior line play first guy. I guess that is the run, but it's also the pass. You earn yards, you start inside, and then you make defenses defend the entire field. So that's where he's coming from. Here is McCochin on his running back room.
I'm very, very happy with that room. One of my favorite rooms that I've been around. And they are making the competition is fierce, but they're bringing the best out of each other. They get along, and they're really just watch. If your eyes can go fast enough, if there's a good run, take your eyes, find Eric, running back coach, Suesville, then find the running backs. They're all like fist pumping, cheering. It's awesome. That they really root for each other, understanding that. They want to win the job. They don't want to be given it at the expense of somebody else.
You want to know what that's called? That's a heatism. Enjoy each other's success.
I tell you what that's called. That's called early in the season. You got all them running backs in there. They all think they could play. They gonna cheer for the other guy, but they gonna still want to play.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what a lot of people take for example, what Kareem Hunt is doing and saying he's not a team guy. And that we get that confused with, being a team guy. You still root for your guys. It doesn't mean you don't want more of an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So because they're not playing games, it's easy to do that. But everybody has a little Preston Wilson in them or Williams in them, right? Everybody does, because you want to play. That's why you're here. You're not here, like everybody says, oh, well, at least you're getting a check. Man, you want to play. And so let's wait until it gets to that point, because it's easy to be a good teammate now when you're just facing your defense or you just facing other teams. But when the season starts, when you get a couple of them coaches' decisions inactive, or you got to make a tough decision right before camp starts and cut one of those guys, then let's see how well that goes.
Here's a little bit more of McDaniel talking about Chase Edmonds, who I would say probably has flashed the most out of anybody in that backfield so far in camp.
Is he the biggest? Is Chase Edmonds the biggest of all those guys also, isn't he?
I don't think he's very big. I think he's like 5'9". He's very fat. He's fast as hell. I'll tell you that much.
But there's no power backs.
I mean, Michelle.
Sony Michelle might be. Yeah, he might be the closest thing.
I'm trying. Yeah, like Sony Michelle, I would say is probably that guy. 5'11", 215. That's pretty big. It's pretty big.
Yeah,
it's not.
Compared to like we've had an influx of 200-pound running backs.
Yeah, he's
because
Derek,
everybody's gotten so consumed with speed.
Yeah, he's Derrick Henry compared to Myles Gaskin.
I don't think people get the full effects of what that is. Just imagine Gronk running a 4.4 and taking a handoff. That's what Derrick Henry is.
Here's McCoachin on Chase Edmonds.
That's a good one. He's I think the team realizes it because of the way that we go through film together, but this is the scheme that we run is a little different than he was used to, which we knew going into because we were evaluating him and we kind of projected it. What's been really, really awesome to see his feel for the game. His cerebral approach is real. Sometimes guys, that a cerebral approach means they just know all the assignments, which is uniquely he does. He knows every receiver assignment and he's understanding the blocking schemes and all that. But more so, he has a combination of feel to apply abstract coaching points. We want him to press the line of scrimmage, and he's working on it daily. He's with his tracks. He's
what are you doing?
Really getting a feel for the protection. So it's been cool to watch him really to digest and start to get you can see it on the field. His productivity is obvious. He's doing a great job and really getting a feel and coming to his own for the position.
Mike, we just wanted to know if you wanted a blue icy or a red icy, man. Come on.
Oh man, I was at Dairy Queen last night with the family. So many choices.
Hey,
tough.
Hey, I would hate to take Mike to 31 flavors, Baskin Robbins. Right? Come on. Now he does like he gonna give you something. I mean, say, yeah, man, I just wanted to know how is he doing? Like you went on 15 minutes.
Love it.
So I do think they feel good about the room. I would be more interested when preseason starts.
Yeah.
Just how they look in different situations, because they have a lot of guys who are built very similar. Right. And so from that standpoint, one of the things that makes a good room is having guys that can do the same things, but also have a unique skill to themselves. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like when you talk about that room, everybody seems to do the same thing. They're all fast. They all have this. You see what I mean? So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that just to know what skills separate each of these guys, because that's going to determine when they play, and that's going to determine, because here's what happens. Here's how you end up getting more playing time. Say if you're just a first and second down guy, as an offensive coach, he's going to look at that guy and say, hey, you got to know how to do other things. Otherwise, we can't play you, because everybody knows what we're going to do when you're in there.
Yeah.
And so his role is expanded a little bit, and that cuts somebody else off. Now you got to be able to do that with a couple of guys. If you can do that with a couple of guys, then you don't give, the defense an idea of what you're going to do. And that's, we did it. Me and Robert did it. Me and Robert knew, put it this way. Me and Robert played the same position. Nobody told us when I was in the game or when he was in the game. We just kind of figured it out. But even us, as we watch in film, we would say, hey, you're going to have to get more of these, because we're starting to, everybody knows when I go in the game, we're doing this. And so, that's the kind of things that you sort out during camp and during the season. And I'm just wondering, with all the backs doing the same thing, how are you going to be able to, differentiate who does what?
I don't know. And I think it's also tough because, Mostert obviously knows the system the best because he's been with McDaniel the longest, but he's also on the mend. So it's opening up more opportunities for Chase Edmonds, who definitely, I think, is flashing more than a guy like Sony Michel would.
Right. And that's the other thing. It's hard. It's hard to impress during camp when you're a bruiser. So you better do it. See, I caught a lot of passes. I did a lot of other things in other drills. Sometimes I played in the slot. I did a lot of different things so that when we got to what my bread and butter was, I didn't sit around all day until that moment came. You have a lot of guys that they're running the same plays and stuff like that. What's going to happen to separate each of these guys? What's going to be the thing that they can do more of than the other guys can? Because that's usually what determines your starter. Not necessarily how good you are at the thing that everybody else can do, but how many different things you can do to make you unique to that group.